today's video is kind of like my initial review, my initial impressions. I'll have some more content on the channel, but this here is the Osmo Pocket 3 from DJI, and it has a lot of things going on, a lot of exciting features, and they have really pushed the envelope here with this new release. What's going on, beautiful internet family? My name is Dan Davis and I am the creative director on DansTube.TV, which is Australia's #1 ranked drone YouTube channel. And today my mind has actually been blown. Like, honestly, the Osmo Pocket 3 from DJI is revolutionary. So first things first, the little carrying case that you get in the standard combo is completely different to what I'm used to. It's such an open design and the unit itself looks relatively exposed, but you do find that it sits in there nice and snug, and all you have to do is literally just kind of push it up from the base and it will come out like that. Nice and simple design. There's also some options in here to put in a wide angle lens and a black pro mist lens as well. So they've got little slots in there if you want to take a few lenses with you, which is very nice. And then this is the beautiful unit in all of its glory, the Osmo Pocket 3 with that gorgeous 2-inch OLED display on the front there. That is the standout immediately, because all you have to do is you swing it like that and the unit boots up within a second. It's unbelievable. It's an OLED display and it does have a brightness of 700 nits. The other huge upgrade here is that 1-inch sensor on the front there. So it is a 1-inch CMOS sensor. This is a 3-axis mechanical gimbal. So that means as you move, it's going to move and counteract all of those movements for you. If we compare it to the original Osmo Pocket, this had a 1/2.3-inch CMOS sensor. So a huge upgrade to this 1-inch sensor here. So the 1-inch sensor is capable of capturing 4K 60 frames per second HDR video. It's also capable of capturing 4K 120 frames per second with the slow motion option. You've got a bunch of different options here. As you go through the settings, you've got video, low light, you've got slow motion, time lapse, you've got photos, and you've also got panorama as well. And there's just so many options going on here. The other huge thing that's really exciting is all you have to do to swap from landscape to portrait is just flip that screen or just switch it into the portrait mode, and now it will be capturing 3K up to 60 frames per second if you want it to. You can also capture photos like that. You can pretty much use all the settings regardless if you've got the screen switched into the portrait or the landscape mode. It honestly was such a pleasure to use this unit, and I remember my original test, like when I used the original Osmo Pocket 1, I was blown away again at what they had been able to do. But really, when I was holding it and testing the two, I found that the original Osmo Pocket was so small. It's such a weird thing to say because it's amazing what they crammed into such a small unit, but the larger size of the Osmo Pocket 3 actually does make a difference. It obviously allows you to have such a large OLED display on the front there, but it also means that it's just a little bit more comfortable in the hand. I just feel a lot more, I guess, safe, like sturdy, stable holding the unit, because it just feels a little bit larger, and that actually does make a difference when you're using such a small unit like this. So if you are looking to get the Pocket 3 and you're based in Australia, I do have some amazing deals for my Aussie audience. You can actually just reach out to sales@d1store.com.au, mention DansTube, and they'll be able to help you out with the best deal they can. Make sure that you mention everything you want. Maybe you want the Pocket 3 and you want some accessories, or maybe you want a drone and the Pocket 3, for example. Let them know what you're looking for and they will be able to help you out. And you can use the code DANSTUBE on their website on select items and accessories to save some money as well. If you are an international viewer though, I will have some other links below to check out the Pocket 3, both through Amazon and the DJI website. So check those out if you are in the market for the Pocket 3. They really have perfected everything with this unit here. It just feels great in every single situation you put it in. That huge OLED display on the front there, that 2-inch display, like I said, 700 nit brightness. It works great in direct sunlight. And that's a big calling card because again, if we compare it to the original, it had such a small display and in that direct sunlight, it would struggle a little bit and you'd kind of be struggling to kind of get those little fine movements to change settings and whatnot. This, you have no issues. It also boots up faster than I've ever seen anything boot up. Like it's ready to go in about a second, just under a second. It's ready to film immediately. There's no like boot up process like other gimbals. It's just immediately into it. And that's where something like this actually does stand out. I've tested so many gimbals on the channel for action cameras, for smartphones, for main like mirrorless and DSLR cameras. And yeah, they work great. And yeah, you're obviously going to get a better image if you're using a better camera system. But the problem is you have to adjust it every single time. You can obviously get that point and you can kind of slot it in and have it calibrated for your use if you mark on the actual gimbal where you need to kind of counterbalance everything. But straight when you change a lens, you have to counterbalance it again. If you add a light onto it, counterbalance again. So you're constantly adjusting. But with something like this where the camera is built into the unit, it knows exactly how to immediately put it into the position it needs to be in. You can put it immediately into the flashlight mode. So for example, if you hold it up like that, the camera will be straightforward and you can just hold it like you normally would. But if I hold it like that, and then flip the screen on, it's gonna put it immediately into the flashlight mode. So immediately I'm ready to film those low shots. Like I can hold it down to the ground and get those flashlight shots immediately. No issues at all. I can then lift it up and it's going to be pointing up at the ceiling. But if I double tap that button, well, I triple tap there, so it kind of flipped around, but you double tap it and it'll recenter the gimbal. Triple tapping, like I said, will flip it around. But if I have the gimbal like pointed directly up at the ceiling and then I just double tap, it's going to recenter straight away. So again, no issues with anything like that. It does allow you to capture things within a fraction of a second and you can switch between modes instantly. And then straight when you flip that screen, you have the option to just let it power down in 2 seconds. Powers down very quickly, and then you just put it straight into the little carrying case like so, and it's ready to go immediately. Another huge upgrade here is that the Pocket 3 can capture 10-bit video. So you can either go with D-Log-M or HLG, both of them support 10-bit video. Again, such a huge advancement on that 1-inch sensor, and you will notice the difference when you're utilizing that post-production editing flow, when you do want to get more out of the image. Having 10-bit with, you can also go 4K 60 FPS HDR video, you've got 10-bit, and then you've also got some amazing slow motion 4K up to 120 frames per second. So a bunch of options there that are really going to take your productions to the next level. You're also getting an impressive 166 minutes of battery life, and I found that that did such an awesome job. I filmed the whole day and I only really had to charge it because I wanted to film a bit more, but you're getting so much battery life out of it. 166 minutes is phenomenal, but it also supports fast charging. So I found that when I came home, plugged it into one of my fast chargers, and by the time I looked at it again, it was already at 100%. It was genuinely a fast charging experience. And that is huge when you want to capture things immediately. Like, especially if you take a fast charger with you, you go on holiday, take this unit out, you're filming all day, you're filming some cool stuff with the family, doing whatever it is you do, go home, plug it in at the hotel, and it's going to be charged, ready to go within such a short period of time. You could just go out and have some lunch, come back, and it's ready to go at 100%. Another huge benefit of this large display basically means that there's a lot more going on the screen. So with a simple little tap, I can actually utilize the zooming function very, very simply here. I can also tap if I want to focus on different points. But then on top of that, you do have face auto detect. So it has Active Track 6.0. That face auto detect worked really well when we were testing that. The dynamic framing is really cool as well. So you can actually change the framing of the shot depending on, what it is that you want to focus in on. And then you also have spin shot, which is that kind of gimmicky, kind of novel experience where the camera spins like that and gives you a cool perspective. One thing to mention about that though is that you do notice that whatever's in the center of the frame, because of the way that the camera's designed, it doesn't kind of keep it perfectly in the center. It's more of like an oval shape when it does the spin because of just the design of the system. But for most people, you're not going to notice. You're going to be blown away anyway by what it can do. But just keep it in mind, it's got some intelligent modes like that. The tracking mode works really well. The zooming option's great. And like in a fraction of a second, I can tap a little button and it will flip the camera system either to face me or to face the other way. It can track my face instantly. It's got extremely impressive audio quality as well on the unit. This is Dan here. I'm testing out the Osmo Pocket 3. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the audio quality from this impressive unit with that 1-inch sensor. We've got a little bit of a controlled setup here. We've got 2 studio lights. We've got a cool little fill light behind me. And I would love your thoughts. This is from the 1-inch sensor, the Osmo Pocket 3. We're using 4K 25 frames per second with the internal microphone systems. The Osmo Pocket 3 actually does have omnidirectional stereo sound recording, and it does have 3 microphones on it. So So in terms of the audio quality, which you just saw before, extremely impressive stuff. Like, it's such a great vlogging option. I will have a whole vlog that I'll upload onto the channel soon where I'm purely using the Pocket 3 just to show you what it's capable of doing in a vlogging scenario. But that omnidirectional, that surround sound kind of experience really does amplify the audio. And that was something that we really did want to see. We wanted to see a big improvement in terms of audio when we got the Pocket 3. So we've got a huge upgrade with the camera, huge upgrade with the display, huge upgrade again with the audio. So it really has just taken it to the next level. And that's why this unit has blown my mind. It's one of my favorite systems. The original Osmo Pocket was one of my favorite systems. And to see such an advancement here gets me very excited. It actually makes me want to go immediately on a holiday so I can take this with me and capture some awesome moments, because it's just so usable, right? Like, it really is such an exciting experience. I will have an actual video on the channel as well comparing it to my iPhone 14, just to kind of show you like why you would need something like this, a mechanical gimbal, as opposed to just getting out your phone. And most of the time it's because of that movement, right? Like, you're getting true mechanical gimbal movements, the 3-axis. So it can counteract any movement that you're chucking at it, where a phone might not be able to capture that kind of, I guess, smoothness when you are capturing movement. So that's where this really stands out. The audio quality is also a big improvement here. It's just got so much going on, so many new features, and I really do love what they've done here. The one thing I would say that I'm getting a little bit used to is just the little joystick. I just feel like it doesn't protrude enough. It feels like a little nub, and I feel like at times it just doesn't feel like it protrudes enough. I feel like if it was just out a little bit more, it would have more of a kind of smooth feeling almost. I don't know, it's hard to explain until you use it. It's not a major issue, and I feel like I'm gonna get used to it very quickly, but that's the one thing I noticed, just because they've kept the form factor nice and, I guess, flush to the body. The record button doesn't protrude at all, it's just a little button that you push in. But that little nub there, that 5D joystick, it feels fine when you tap it. That tapping functionality feels fine. Like I've shown you, you can triple tap, you can double tap to recenter. That works really well, but just the little subtle movements when you're kind of moving left, right, and up and down, that's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. And I feel like maybe if that protruded just a little bit more, it would be even more satisfying again. But that's just such a small gripe to have here, because really when you're using it, especially if you're tracking someone, you can just chuck it straight into the active track mode and track their face. You don't have to worry about even touching that joystick. And I found that when I was testing this, I very rarely used the joystick. I found that it was great with whatever I was kind of pointing at or moving to. And when I was trying to track something, or my partner was tracking me, did perfectly fine, no issues with that. Even when you use the spin shot mode, you can literally just press in the button, the 5D joystick, and it will just start doing the movement for you. So it's not a major issue, but just something to keep in mind. Yeah, if you haven't watched other videos where they've mentioned it, that's the one thing that I would like to maybe just comment on as something I'd like to see improve for the next version. If you are looking for an upgraded travel camera, this is honestly great. Like, I know that you've probably got a phone and you're like, do I need it? But this makes such a huge difference. Having that 3-axis gimbal, having like a standardized camera that you're purely using as a camera. You don't have to worry about charging up your phone because you need to take calls and do other things on it. Like, your phone is then just your phone, and then you got a standalone camera system. This is also phenomenal in like a studio setting. There's a guy called Colin, check out his YouTube channel. He's been doing a bunch of just standard videos with the Pocket 3 for his Amazon storefront. Works perfectly fine, no issues with it. Great audio, great video, just such an awesome studio setup as well. So it doesn't just have to be a travel camera or an adventure camera. It really is a versatile system because they've upgraded both the sensor as well as the microphones. So anyway, I would love your thoughts. As you can probably hear in my voice, in my tone, in my explanation, the Pocket 3 has blown my mind. It does feel like a revolutionary upgrade from the Pocket 1 and the Pocket 2. They really have put a lot of exciting features in here, and I would love your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you're gonna get one, and I will chat to you in the next video. Peace.